Once again, it is that time, friends. Whether you're watching live on Twitch, or you're watching here on YouTube, or listening on Spotify, because yes, these episodes will now be going on Spotify. This is Lights Out, brought to you by our amazing friends at Metafy, and I hope everybody is doing fantastic. And to celebrate, actually, the fact that we are going to be putting these podcast episodes on Spotify as well, this episode, okay, if you watch and you comment on YouTube, I'm going to pick 4 lucky commenters on YouTube, and you're going to win a case of Juvie. Our friends at Juvie have offered to sponsor this particular episode, so that's what I'm giving away. So just so you know, if you're listening on Spotify, you might want to head over to YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Leave a little comment just so you can be entered in the raffle, and I'll announce those winners the following week. But I am not here alone. It's your boy EE. I got Cosmos. He's still over in Japan. I got Light in somebody's basement. Gentlemen, how we feeling today? That's true.
You made that sound a lot worse than it should, honestly.
I need help, please.
You made me sound like a god. Yeah, Carlos still in Japan. Light in a basement.
Nah, but I'm doing pretty good. I'm in Connecticut right now. I had to use a friend's little setup. They didn't have much time to clean it because I kind of dropped this on them like last night. So, you know, they weren't too prepared. They're working right now. But I mean, I'm having a good time out here. About to head back to Mass after this. But yeah, that's my update for now.
Cosmo?
That's what's up. Yeah, I mean, I'm still doing my things. I've been very, very exhausted, honestly. I flew to a different part of Japan that had a 2-hour flight, and then I went to a tournament, came back, rested for a day. 3 days later, went to another tournament all the way up in Hokkaido, which is like a 2-hour flight. Went to that tournament, came back literally the same day of the tournament. If I won the tournament, I would have missed the flight. So I definitely scripted me losing the tournament, getting fit just to make my time just in time to come back to Tokyo to literally go to a tournament 10 hours after my flight. So I'm very exhausted. So I'm very happy that that's why I haven't been on social media as much and tweeting as much, because I've just been taking a break. But otherwise, I've been great. I still don't want to come back to America.
Honestly, you make Japan sound like a hell trip with the amount of flights you be taking.
Facts,
I could never,
right?
Yeah, I can't do that. You're telling me I gotta fly 8 hours to Canada, and I can't even do that.
Oh, you don't, dude. I've literally I've been here, and I went to Hokkaido, and like 90% of the Japanese players in Tokyo that I've been talking to, they're like, "You're going to Hokkaido for a tournament?" Literally, I've never even been up there, and I've lived in Japan my entire life. So I'm definitely just insane. You definitely don't have to be doing what I'm doing.
How much time have you actually spent in Tokyo?
That's a good question.
Maybe overall, like, this might be my 5th or 6th day in Tokyo. Maybe 7th, but probably 6th day in Tokyo. And okay. I've been here. I've been in Japan for about 2 weeks.
Now you've been doing other stuff besides just tournaments, right? You've done some sightseeing and stuff like that. Yeah. I
mean, literally, you can't miss it if you haven't muted me on Twitter for some reason yet, and you still have me not muted. Like
these accusations here.
I told everybody to mute me if you don't want to see my 4th ramen bowl the same day. I've been to a lot of places, and I've been to a lot of places. So I'm definitely sightseeing. Japan is beautiful. Japan is definitely a beautiful place.
How about you, Phil? How's your life been going?
Life's been okay, man. I honestly, the only thing that consists of my weeks, at least for now, because like the next tournament I'm going to is probably just MomoCon. I just keep trying to do stuff like for the podcast, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm getting our stats together. I'm giving it to different potential sponsors and stuff like that. I'm trying to make this podcast, take it to the moon. So that's my main priority, and I'll stream every now and then, obviously. And of course, I got to see the Mario movie, which was awesome. I don't know, Light, you saw it, right?
Yep.
Cosmos didn't see it, but he doesn't care about spoilers, even though at this point I can't even consider it a spoiler. If you ever played a Mario game, you know how the movie ends. He wins. But I thought that movie was dope. It's on pace to make $1 billion. And you want to know why that is, folks? You want to know why that movie is on pace to make $1 billion? Because the fine folks at Nintendo and Illumination should understand, when you make a children/fan movie, you market it to the children and the fans. You don't have all this over the top, you know what I'm saying, like plot shit and just like a complicated story and like, oh my God, this crazy character development. No, You make a good ass movie that's true to the source material and the fans, and you see what happens. Boom.
Bro,
Wait,
it's so true.
Boom.
So
Go
like,
on.
I'm actually not as like that into like stats about movies and stuff. Is $1 billion like a really, really big deal? Like, how many movies have hit that or something?
Yes.
I'm just asking.
Okay.
All right. I
$1
might be getting
billion,
roasted for this.
bro.
$1 billion's a lot.
$1
How
million.
much? Because I know
$1 billion.
Avatar was one of the most like money making movies, right? So how much money did that movie make? Was it $1 billion or no?
Yeah. So movie like Avatar, Spider-Man, the last Spider-Man movie, Avengers, I think Endgame, Titanic. Those are like the $1 billion boys. Those are the $1 billion stuff.
So
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
a big boy movie.
Yeah. So and that's where this movie is heading towards, and it hasn't even been released in Japan. I think it's releasing today at the time of this recording in Japan.
Today in Japan.
Yeah.
Yep.
But think about that. That's insanity. Like, that movie is doing numbers. And that's why I stand by the point that you niggas need to stop trying to run Nintendo out this community, okay? Even a percent of that money going to the Smash community? Oh, Lord, have mercy. Get it together.
Feature on Smash.
If someone honestly hated on the Mario movie, there's something wrong with you. I feel like some people were looking for too much in the movie, like some kind of crazy plot. It's a Mario movie. What did you want to happen, bro? Honestly, the movie was great. If you're someone who grew up with Mario, the references were amazing. I'm sure you could watch that movie 2 more times and still miss some things because there are so many subliminal messages in the music, in the background and stuff like that. It was honestly a really good movie. And you already know there's going to be a second one. I honestly think we're hitting like a movie meta where we're going to get a lot more games just become like movies because they're realizing that like it's hitting a certain crowd, a certain audience that they like.
Listen, this is going to become the next MCU, and they're going to do it the right way, okay? They're not going to screw it up.
Oh, we're going to get a Smash movie then, right?
Exactly. It's all going to lead. Like, we've already got Sonic live action. There's already Detective Pikachu. Like, I thought at the end credit scenes, it would have been really cool if you just saw maybe like Link somewhere in the distance looking over like it's like his turn to come up next or something crazy like that. But I think this is all going to lead to some sort of intertwined Super Smash Bros. Movie that's going to hit theaters in 2023 or 2030, and we will be present.
Oh boy, just 84 more movies to go, and we have every character, right?
I'm here. Here.
A Link movie, a Legend of Zelda movie, I've talked about this before. I actually talked about this like a little bit after watching the Mario movie. I don't know how you do it successfully because you're just going to have a little elf boy running around like, Seiya, like every 5 seconds. It's like, what do you really do with that? I don't want to hear the original cartoon Link going like, excuse me, princess. I'm not here for that.
I mean, honestly, like even for Mario, they didn't even have his canon voice. So I feel like if a Legend of Zelda movie came out, he could have a power.
They did have a cameo of the guy.
No. Here's the thing, though. In the Mario movie, they actually explain why that's not his real voice. Like, they do 5 seconds of explaining it. So, if you watch it, like the trailers, you're like, oh, he doesn't really have his real voice. But then you watch like the first 10 seconds of the movie, and you're like, oh, I feel better now. Like, it's actually really well done.
Yeah,
it sounds like they just made some shit up. But I mean, I ain't watched the movie.
Well, they definitely had to make some shit up, like to create a a competent story. Like, I don't remember Mario in the games having actual parents and stuff like that. But they obviously brought that to life in the movie. It all works really well how they did it. You have to take some liberties, true, but they take liberties while still being true to the source material. And that's why I think that movie is amazing. And all the critics who gave it a bad score, same people who could never beat a Mario game. So that goes to show you what they know.
I mean, we might have never seen his parents, but we do know he's from Brooklyn. So, like...
That's true.
Yeah, man. Brooklyn boy. He like Captain America. Maybe he's the first Avenger.
What?
Captain America.
Honestly... Nintendo MCU would go kind of crazy. I ain't even gonna cap it.
Think about it though. That's what you said. You said the Avengers are gonna come together. Mario and Luigi are the first Avengers, and they're from Brooklyn. Okay. Captain America is from Brooklyn, bro.
Oh shit! Shit!
Man, it all comes together. We're gonna make.
So is Link from Queens?
No. Why would it has to be like a kid, like a new kid. Pitt would be from
That's-
Queens.
I could see that. I could see that. He like gets killed in a car accident, and like Palatina is like, "I'm not done with you yet," and he gets like flung into it. And that's how the trailer starts. Yeah, from DreamWorks Pictures, some shit like that.
Yeah, DreamWorks picked.
but there's factually gonna be another Mario movie. You know that because if you saw the second secret ending, then it's like it's pretty obvious there's gonna be another one.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is going to be really good. So if you haven't seen the Mario movie, we're not shilling. We're just giving it its proper due to let you know that it was absolutely awesome to watch. Something else that was awesome to watch that we have to touch on, because I actually have some strong opinions on it. There's a tournament that happened in Europe. It's called Invasion. Okay? You might not have seen it, and if you didn't, that's okay. We're going to catch you up on it. Bloom Forever. Bloom won it. A guy named Luigi got second, and Gluto got third. I have a hot take for this, okay? I think.
Wait.
What?
Does Luigi play Luigi?
He plays Luigi, yes.
Yeah,
Get him away from me.
Yeah.
He beat Bloom reverse 3-0 actually in winners finals, and then he beat Gluto he beat Gluto in winners semis, and then reverse 3, or I don't remember how it went. I don't remember which order it was, but he reversed 3-0.
He beat both of them.
Bloom, yeah, and then he also beat Gluto as well. And then he ended up in some sort of situation where he had to fight whatever. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. The point is, Bloom is broken, okay? And now I say Bloom is broken because he won grand finals, right? He won the tournament. I think if Bloom competed over here, like consistently, he'd be a top 10 player.
So I've been hearing a lot of chats about Bloom being the best player in Europe, which I've always been under the impression that Gluto has always had shaky results in Europe, but he comes here and he does really good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would anybody be able to confirm how true that is to me? I don't know how consistent Gluto is in Europe.
It actually is moderately true. He doesn't win everything whenever he's in Europe. He does usually place like, I believe, top 3, and I think he's ranked 1 in Europe still, because he's still like moderately consistent, but it's not like he's like as like, because of the fact that Europe is considered not as stacked as like America or Japan. Like him not winning everything is a big deal because it's not supposed to be as stacked as the other regions. But whenever he comes to America, he can practice with stronger players, and he plays with Leo a lot, which is why I feel like he gets a lot more consistent results whenever he's in America or Mexico, I guess.
So in a sense, he's kind of proto Banham-esque, like in the sense where like when it comes to his own like country,
Kind of.
he doesn't really do as good as like people would expect. But then he comes here and it's like, oh, he's amazing, because we all know Gluto's amazing, you know.
Yeah,
but
I think Bloom is. I would take Bloom as the king of Europe now over Gluto. No disrespect to my boy Gluto.
Really, it's gotten like that.
How would you do that?
Because I think Bloom he's won all the last encounters with him. Like hasn't he won like the last 2 or 3? I think encounters with him, if I'm not mistaken. Like,
so if Spargo beats Leo 2 or 3 times, is he the king of Smash or something?
No, but I'm only talking about Europe. I'm not talking about Smash in general.
Okay, but what do we include in that? Because are we including when Gluttony comes here, or are we talking about like only Europe tournaments?
Okay, in Europe tournaments, I think that Bloom is that guy, 100%. No questions asked. Apparently hasn't lost a tournament in 2023. And I think that if he was able or he wanted to travel more often, I think he could blossom into a top 10 player in all regions.
He could bloom.
How old is he?
He's young.
16 or 17, something like that.
Yeah, I would love to fight against him. That's really interesting though. I'm looking at the bracket right now. I see the 5th places for this event is a Fox main named Streaks. I've never heard of him before, but let's go. Europe having a Fox main. I'm obviously happy about that. I love more Fox representation.
There you go.
I used to have a whole family, but they're all dead now. Siski getting 5th, losing to Andreas, and Andreas losing to Bloom Forever. I know Andreas is a really good. He's Ryu, right?
Yeah.
Or is he Ryu/Ken?
I've seen his Ryu. I don't know about Ken.
Yeah, he's Ryu then. Yeah, no, he's a really good
I know
Ryu.
he is at least a Shadow player.
To be honest, the way it's looking, it looks like Europe is starting to shape into a stronger region slowly in general, or a stronger country. I see Lancelot. I've only ever seen him once before. Lancelot went to Glitch, I think. Glitch region, I think. He might have been there, or Pound.
All right.
It was one of those
so
two.
where the heck was Mr. R?
Good question.
I don't know if Mr. R was at that
Is he
event.
not there?
He might still be. Yeah, I don't know if he was at that event because I think he's still prepping for his Japan trip that's just coming up very shortly.
Well, yeah, I know he's on the flight literally right now to Japan.
Well, there you go.
Oh, yeah. He definitely had more things he cared about than that right now. But yeah, Europe is making up for an interesting story. To be honest, a lot of out of country stuff is going on compared to America. Like, we have a few tournaments, but like the storylines that are happening out of country, I think, are a lot more interesting right now.
Yep,
Oh.
even Japan is definitely shaping up to be some crazy stuff happening here because Mia recently, I don't remember, it wasn't when I was in Japan, but it was like a month ago or something. He beat Okola for like the first time in Japan and won a tournament over him, and he's been like shaping up to be like consistently at like a top 2 player in Japan. Like nobody could beat him outside of Okola. And then the tournament like 2 weeks ago or last week happened in Fukuoka, and Shuton lost early and then made a big losers run to beat Mia twice in grand finals. So there's a lot of exciting stuff happening in Japan. There was obviously the Hokkaido tournament that happened. I believe it was the same weekend as Invasion in Europe. Okola won that. I got 5th. T got 2nd. I barely lost to T, but I'm very happy about how the set went because I feel like I made a couple mistakes that I can definitely clean up and beat him next time. So I feel more confident about that. But right after that, I had to instantly fly back home, or not home, fly to Tokyo and go to another tournament literally the next day, where I ended up losing round 1, literally round 1, right after, which definitely shows you, like, I don't want to yawn or anything, but burnout is definitely a thing. And like, it's one of those things where it's like, I lost round 1. I actually played the person that I lost to round 1 to make it out of pools and losers, and I beat him 2-0. And it was still kind of difficult. I'm not even gonna cap. He was actually a pretty good player. But like, Japanese people were saying like he was actually a no-name player. So I literally lost to a no-name Japanese player. But even after that, I beat him to make it out. And then that was for top 48, and I had to play Neo, the best corn in Japan, and I lost that 3-1. I was like working my way into making a reverse 3-0, but I couldn't close out game 4. It was last knock, last hit. But that tournament, it was like a big regional in Tokyo. There was a lot of top players there. And I believe it was the thing where every single top 8 seed did not make top 8. Like, everybody got destroyed at that tournament. Like, Shuton got 25th.
Yep.
Ken got like 13th or something, or 9th. Like, everybody was
Ken got 17th.
destroyed. So it's Ken got 17th. Yeah. So it's like everybody got destroyed, and it's like it's one of those tournaments where it's like, damn, if I didn't win round 1, like, I probably would have had an easier time winning the tournament. But obviously, I want to play the stronger players. But it's also like I did bad, and I feel bad about it. But it's also like everybody else did bad, so I don't feel as bad about it. And I like was kind of burned out. But it's one of those things where it's like there's a lot of stuff that's be happening in Japan. They literally had 2 big tournaments the same exact weekend, and there's another tournament this weekend that's probably going to be even harder than those 2 tournaments.
Are you going to be at that tournament?
I am going to be at that tournament. Okay. It's called Wave.
It sounds like you'll at least be rested for that, so I don't expect 30-30.
Yeah.
Because you have 5th, 5th, 33rd. It's time to go back to 5th.
No, it's time to go back to 1st.
Okay.
That tournament you were talking about sounded a lot like Collision, bro.
It basically, I like when I was talking with some players, I was actually saying that it was like Japanese Collision or Japanese Civil War. A Falco player won it.
Oh my god. No, yeah, like I said, there's a lot going on in different countries. I took the liberty of looking up what you were talking about, Phil, about Bloom and Gluttony, and you're right. The record there is 2-5 in Bloom's favor. And Bloom has won the last 2 sets. And he lost the one before that, but after that, he won the last 3 before that. So he's basically been winning all of them.
Go.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it might be one thing where like maybe Bloom beat him in winners finals of one of the tournaments, and then Gluto just barely reversed or beat him in grands in 2 sets, and that's where he got his 2 sets at one tournament. So maybe Bloom beat him at 4 different tournaments. Gluto only beat him at once.
Yeah, either way. If Bloom was the best player inside of France, that'd be very interesting. Who knows? Maybe not Metafice. Maybe our podcast will take us to Europe one day, and we'll be able to fight him.
I keep telling people we will go wherever we are welcome. And by the way, put some respect on my man Bloom. He's a UKer. He's not a Frenchie.
He's a okay.
Frenchie. He's not part of that dimension. Right?
Hey, what's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying he probably don't want to be included in that. He keep whooping their asses. He's like, look, I ain't part of this club. I'm with these niggas over here. You know what I'm saying?
God.
I mean,
universe.
He was at the France Invitational. I think he still plays pretty well. He almost beat T, which is very, very crazy because T is also like he never loses in France. So the fact that he almost beat T in France was also a big deal. And he almost did it with I think he went Me Brawler or something, or maybe that was someone else. No, that was against Passeriman. Sorry, I'm losing my mind. But yeah, he almost beat Passeriman with Me Brawler. So he's not just a one-trick Bayonetta only. He does have secondaries, and having secondaries just shows also that you have a decent, at least a decently high Smash IQ, which is a big deal.
Moving back into inside the country, though, inside the states of America, we do have the opposite of what's been going on in every other country. Shine just announced that they will be having their last Shine in August, and that is some pretty sad news, especially for someone like me who's actually from New England. So I will definitely be there, but it's sad that we'll be losing yet another event.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks because I mean I appreciate Shine because that was also one of the first majors that I won, and also was a major that got me into the summit. So it was also just Shine is usually a nice homey kind of event to be at. So it definitely sucks to see it go. I don't really know why. I don't know the insider information, but that's definitely unfortunate.
I don't even think it's like insider information. I mean, it's just expensive to run these tournaments. One of the things that I really was a fan of, like the circuits for last year, was like I felt like they were able to pump additional finances into some of these events to help them kind of coast along or at least keep going. You take that away, it's not surprising to see some of these events start to trickle away. I mean, I've been to a couple of Shines. I liked them a lot when they were in Boston because I really like that area in Boston. Then they moved to Worcestershire or something like that. And I went to the one in Worcestershire. And I had a very interesting experience at that tournament because one, it was during, this is like from like when the original virus was like coming out. It was like this virus called the EEvisu. And like you could get it from like a mosquito or something like that. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Triple E virus, yep.
Yeah, but people were photoshopping my head onto like mosquitoes and like posting it on Twitter, and it was really starting to annoy me. So I didn't really have a good time at that event. Cause like, oh my God, it's him, it's the virus. I'm like, no, I'm the guy who's gonna fuck your mom if you keep talking to me like that. But anyway, aside from that,
do you remember? Wait, do you remember that Shine? Me and you went on like 2 Pokemon Go walks together, like at 2 a.m.
Yes,
good times.
I do. I
was that the one Samsora one? Was that the one before the last one? Okay.
Overlay, yeah.
No, the last Shine was actually pretty fun too. So the thing about Worcester, Massachusetts, that's how you pronounce it, Phil.
I thought it was Worcestershire, like the sauce.
No, I thought it was Worcester.
I called it Worcester first too, and then everyone in Massachusetts tried stabbing me, so I stopped calling it that.
Damn.
So
Walmart was in the building. Go ahead.
So I try to. I feel like people are like, since it's not in Boston, it's not as hype. But fun fact, if you know the area, there's some pretty cool stuff over there. So some hidden tech for people who are going to go to Shine this year. There's a barcade for the older people. And in this barcade, it costs about $5 to get unlimited games. And it is definitely the place to go because it is a great time. You don't have to spend any money on playing the games. You can spend more money on drinking and chilling with your friends. But let me tell you, the people who knew about it, they were there, and it was a fun time. You could be there all weekend for all we care. There are stuff to do in Worcester, not Worcester, not whatever the fuck Phil called it.
Worcester.
Worcester.
Okay, I mean, maybe there's a few things to do. I'm not trying to discourage anybody from going to Shine. I definitely think people should attend it. It's definitely...
Well, you can't now, because it's not...
Well, I'm just saying, like, I was just giving like my 2 cents on some stuff. Like, I knew that they were in a little bit of trouble, to be honest. I mean, because like I'm not gonna name my source, but I know somebody who, Shine was last year in August, and they just recently only just got paid for their work there. So definitely taking a hot minute to get those finances together. Same thing with like a big house. Like, did you guys see that tirade that Sky J and Meister were going on? about Big House not paying them, and like they just started openly tweeting it out and calling it like bullshit. Like, yo, this is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
Like, have you been paid from Big House yet?
Yes. No. I had to think about that for 5 seconds. No, I've contacted them multiple times, and they basically told me they're not sure what's going on. I actually completely forgot about that until you mentioned it right now. But the last time I contacted them was like in February, I think.
Oops.
I'll be right back. I have to handle this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll be right back. Yeah.
I mean,
That's
look,
funny.
it's a weird time that, you know, we're in. I do think like events, like if you can't pay within a net 60, you should maybe have to reconsider about running the event, right? Because I understand sometimes you have to wait for sponsorship money and stuff like that, but like the deal that you have with that or whatever should like be under some umbrella, like it should be like a net 60. And sometimes I do wonder if like me speaking like openly about this stuff could like potentially cost me opportunities. But on the same token, I'm like, well, it sounds like you niggas weren't gonna pay me anyway, so it doesn't, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
it's as much of a loss here. But make sure you hit that sub button.
Real. It's completely real. I mean, if you're gonna be hosting events, you gotta, you know, have the prize money ready. You know.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's not like the problem with that too is like it's not like Big House had a pop bonus or anything. So it was literally just the people that registered for the event through StartGG paid for the prize pool. So they should have the prize pool to be able to give to the players. I don't know if that's on Big House fault or StartGG, but like StartGG definitely gives the money to the other tournament organizers to pay out their events. So it's not like they wouldn't give it to the Big House tournament organizers to pay out their events. So it's like something's definitely going on with Big House to be not paying these people out. That's definitely a problem.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. You're right. There is no pop bonus, so pay me my $5 already. I need it.
You got second at that event
with no pop bonus. I should have just went to a monthly.
I was at TwitchCon.
Lucky you.
Well, it was pretty lit, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I mean, it does suck though, like all joking aside, it does suck to see legacy events like Shine, like Big House, like clearly kind of like struggling. And I don't know what the future holds for them. I guess I know for Shine. Big House, I think I think Big House is a 50-50 on if it'll happen again. We'll see. I've heard some things. You know what I'm saying?
You know what you did mention though? You mentioned that you were at TwitchCon?
I was at TwitchCon.
Speaking of Twitch, everybody, did you hear Twitch's biggest streamer got banned?
Oh, dag.
Yeah. Cenat got banned from Twitch. Did he announce if he was going anywhere else, or did he announce anything he wanted to say about that, Phil?
He tweeted... Huh? Go ahead, Cosmos.
No, I just want to know why he got banned.
So he just tweeted banned, right? And then apparently yesterday, he tweeted too that, okay, I'm going to be doing a stream on Instagram with like these guys are, I think like some people from like a boxing event that's coming up or whatever. And apparently did real big numbers over there on Instagram, right? So the reason though, apparently that he got banned, like there's a troll reason why people are saying he got banned is because like he kind of made fun of the Twitch shoes that they gave him that were kind of like, okay, well, how about a contract that's lucrative or something like that? They just gave some custom Air Forces, right? And then like Kick sent him some shoes too, which were actually look better than the ones Twitch sent him. And he was kind of gassing those up a lot on stream. Those are the troll reasons why they're saying. The actual reason is believed to be like, apparently, this isn't confirmed. This is just what I heard the latest a couple hours ago, that he was doing sexual acts in Grand Theft Auto roleplay that weren't appropriate. Apparently, that's what I heard. Like in this video game, he was like making some sexual acts that weren't appropriate, whatever the hell that means. Meanwhile, if you head over to hot tubs, pools, and beaches, you can see some things that you may think are a bit inappropriate as well. You know?
Just a tad. Holy shit. When did you start calling it that?
I'm just trolling. I'm just saying it's really weird that the cartoon like interactions from a video game is what potentially got him banned. I don't know exactly what it is, but we've like a lot of black creators just kind of like struggle to stay on Twitch. Gideon is gone. What's Speed? Speed is gone. And what's maybe? Well, no, I don't know if Aiden Ross is actually half black, like he says. I think he just likes to say nigga. But either way, like a lot of those people are just gone.
It's just crazy that you can have somebody that makes you that much money and have such a revolutionary subathon and stuff like that, and just literally like the next month or the month after, just say, "Yep, see ya. Thanks for all the money. See ya, Jim."
Literally,
it's just crazy how these corporations work.
And then you keep all these people who definitely deserve to be banned, or you're banning people for reasons that other people should be banned for, and you're not banning them. Like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like they want people to leave, in a sense. Like, they want the biggest people that they have to leave. I just don't get it.
It's very strange. And now there is the interesting theory that Kick uses the same servers as Twitch or something like that, and they have to pay Twitch to do that, so Twitch actually makes money off of Kick. I don't know if that's actually true. I don't know how deep that rabbit hole goes. But nonetheless, like, you have a streamer like Cenat, like, bro, like, you should be like I know people say, oh, everybody should be treated equally. No, listen, there's levels to this shit. Okay, it just is. Like, there just is. Like, before you just hand out that ban, you should have been like, hey, this is what's happening here. You know, maybe don't do this shit again, or we might actually have to take action. Me personally, if I'm in charge of Twitch, I'm not banning one of my cash cows. I'm not banning somebody who could just say, well, maybe I'll just make a switch over to Rumble or Kick or YouTube and take all that audience there. Like, it's a lot of people. And maybe in the grand scheme of things, it's not the blow necessarily for viewership wise because there's so many streams, but I can see it affecting revenue to an extent. I can absolutely see it being bad PR, and it's just not, it doesn't feel like it's a good look. And what if that influences other people? Because remember, there's that time where people were leaving Twitch and going to YouTube and stuff like that. Like, that was noticeable. Like, and there are streamers that left Twitch that are YouTube that I just watch exclusively there. Like, there's a lot of different ways that can be navigated. I just don't think, you even said it, Cosmos, a revolutionary subathon. Like, I know it's not February, but damn, can a nigga get a break?
And it just doesn't make sense to me, because Twitch are even like making protocols where it's like, hey, we're gonna take away 70-30 from literally everything, and everybody's gonna get 50-50 sub split because we want to make more money. And like, you're basically like, Amazon's probably pushing them like, hey, we want you to be profitable because y'all aren't profitable enough for us.
They're not,
and you're taking away one of the people that are making you the most amount of money in a singular month without any hesitation. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Where's the consistency? Where is the reason? It makes no sense, and I just can't wrap my head around it.
It's almost like other streamers see it coming too. Like, you see streamers, like, there was a few talks about that when Cenat like first like did the subathon, like when it was like popping off and shit. It's like, you'll pay him before you lose another one, because you lose a lot of people who don't put up with your bullshit. So it's like, what are you trying to do? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
did they end up doing the 50-50?
Huh?
Yes, they did the 50-50 split.
Yeah, after a certain point of money that you make too, like, it's just reduced.
Like what they did was, most people moved to 50-50 split. Like, even I had 70-30, and then I moved down to 50-50. And then what they did for like bigger streamers is, like, after a certain threshold of money you make, then it's like you go down to 50-50 because they want to make sure that like they're still able to pay for all of their expenses and stuff. But like, at some point, even that's going to go away later on. But it's like, it just doesn't make sense, because like, Kai is very, very big. Like, it's not like he's not going to get a deal from another platform. I don't know like what his Twitch deal was, or if he even had one, but it's like, if you ban him, he's going to go to a different platform. It's not like he's just magically going to disappear from the streaming stratosphere. Like, he's gonna go to Kick or YouTube, or he's gonna get a deal from somewhere. So you're just losing money to have him go to a different platform that is rivaling your own platform, which is giving you even more competition that'll make you make even less money as time goes on, because people are going to realize that platform is a plausible option that they can stream on now because they're bigger creators. There's so many things that go into it that I don't think Twitch is even thinking about, that I can't wrap my head around, which is why it bothers me that they do things like this without any explanation, any strong explanation.
Okay, so let's talk about this right now. So we obviously could tell that like Twitch is like super fucking self-destructive. Like they're not
A
even
little bit.
hiding it. So we're getting multiple platforms. You have Twitch, YouTube, you got Kick now, you got Facebook, you got a few other things. Depends on what you want to do. Someone who has 0 views, zero following, nothing. They want to start streaming, right? Would you even recommend them to stream on Twitch at this point?
I think
Go ahead.
the discoverability on Twitch is kind of ass. Like, to be honest, like, I don't think, like, if you're like, oh, well, where do I start streaming? Like, it's an even shot almost, in my opinion, like wherever you go. Like, obviously, I think it helps, you know what I'm saying, to maybe be on the same site as, like, if you have some friends who stream, just because maybe you can get, like, a raid or a host or whatever it is. Yeah. But, like, overall, if you're just like, I don't know anybody in this industry, I don't really care, I'm just going for it, it is what it is.
I think if you are literally like a nobody, have no social media, no nothing, no following anywhere, I think you do start on YouTube, because YouTube has the best discoverability. It still doesn't have great discoverability for streaming, but if you're on YouTube, you're not only going to be streaming, you're going to be like uploading content, uploading highlights that are going from your stream, and that stuff at the very least can be shared, and people will be like, oh, this is from a stream, let me check out a stream, and it's going to be on the same platform. They don't have to go to a different platform to find your stream. For Twitch, there's literally nothing like that, because you can post videos, but nobody watches Twitch videos on like their actual channel or anything. They only watch streams, and very rarely do they watch like past live stream VODs. But the only time that you do stream is if you have other social media platforms to advertise your stream, like YouTube and like Twitter and stuff like that, or if you have a couple of friends that can at least raid you, or like a community that you could be a part of, so that you can grow your community on Twitch and then start going on it. Because like, even if you're like a decently big streamer, like decently big as in you have like a couple of hundred viewers, it's still hard to grow outside of that unless you do like events or something, or still have people rating you. And like, it's hard to grow in general on Twitch until you're at a certain point of like fame. Like if you have over 1,000 viewers, if you have under 1,000 viewers, it's still pretty hard to grow on Twitch.
It's very difficult. This website's broken too. Like half the time it doesn't even send out the notifications when you go live. Like, I think like maybe 1/4 of my people get like my notifications. Otherwise it's always people show up like, oh, I didn't even know you're live. Like, there's just like I see Twitch do a lot of things, like make a lot of tweets and announcements about shit that I do not care about. And I'm just like, can you just fix like the little things that would go a long way for some of your, you know what I'm saying, creators and stuff like that. But creators. You know, I'm not in those meetings and stuff like that. Maybe it's above my pay grade, but I don't know, bro. I just feel like I don't think Twitch is ever gonna like die. I think Amazon would have to legitimately like pull the plug. But like, it's pretty clear like they're not the undisputed like kings of the streaming platform, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we're gonna ban gambling. Oh, by the way, TwitchCon, it's in Vegas this year. Like, what? What?
Shit.
I didn't even think about that. I'm not even gonna lie.
That's the stupidest shit I ever heard, bro.
I didn't even think about that.
What do you guys think of Kick? Do you think Kick has any possibility to get traction?
Kick is the 90-10 one, right?
Yes.
Is it 90-10? Holy shit.
It's 90-10.
Yeah,
why are we streaming here?
That's what I'm saying, big dog.
That's
also, Kick is black and green, and I love that color scheme, bro.
That's a good scheme. I agree.
Yo, bro, add in a little bit of gray and then sponsor me, and I'll be there every day. Yeah.
I just don't know. I feel like they probably have to do some kind of rebranding, because Kick already has some kind of like weird connotation to it because of the stuff that you're allowed to stream on there, and like I'm pretty sure people don't want to have that be a part of their brand, so I feel like they would have to rebrand. But I feel like it would definitely be a possibility in the future. I feel like the future of streaming at some point, whether it be in 2 years or 5 years or however many years it takes, I'm pretty sure it's going to end up being on YouTube, because YouTube is the best media platform for shareability and growth. And I feel that streamers will definitely realize that at some point, and YouTube will make their discoverability for streaming even better, to the point where you would be really stupid to not be streaming on YouTube at some point.
Okay, no, I can definitely see that as well too.
Bro, I like Kick, I think is like, if you want that big like revenue bag split, is amazing, but keep in mind, like, I'm not assuming like all 500 of my subscribers on Twitch are instantly gonna follow me over to Kick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand you're gonna take a hit there. Like, people are not as adept.
If they did, you'd make a lot of money.
That's true. That would be awesome. I'm not gonna lie, but that's probably not realistic. Like, for some people, you know what I'm saying? Like, because their audience is like thousands of people, it's whatever. It's an easy switch. We've been seeing that. For others, not so much. So they like, Twitch does have that bit of leverage as far as like having to build out a new community. But the reason I think it's fine to stream on Kick is like, it's not like even though like there is a lot of kind of TOS violations or whatever, some rather inappropriate conduct, that doesn't mean I'm going to be doing it. You know what I'm saying? Heel Mike is hilarious. I don't have any intentions of getting a blowjob on stream. He did. He got a one-day ban, and he got even more subs. Like, power to you, Mike. You know what I mean? Power to you. But me personally, I actually like working Nintendo events. I'm not trying to attach that to my brand.
For real. No, I do think it's very interesting though, because I mean, you're right. There's very little shot that everyone from Twitch will follow you to Kick, but you'd probably be making a lot more for a lot less at Kick. Because I mean, bro, if you have 100 subs on Kick, you've made like $450. Like, that's insane compared to the numbers that you're getting on Twitch. On top of that, with Twitch, now that they're doing the 50-50 split, it's getting harder to manage, like, to be a full-time creator on there, like, when you only have like 500 subs now, you know? Like, that's really hard.
And it's just like the consistency on Twitch is just, it's not there, because they even were trying to do the thing where they had people where you could accept ad deals or something, where you could be like, hey, if you stream this amount of time, we'll guarantee you get $500 in ad money. Or if you stream this amount of time in ad, or run an ad, like 3 minutes of ads every hour, you'll be guaranteed like $1,000. And then it's like, it would be like that for a month. And then the next month, like, you could have even higher viewership, and they would be like, hey, if you stream this amount of time and run 3 ads, we'll give you actually $200 this time instead of $1,000. And it just makes no sense. Like, I see a lot of people on Twitter complaining about that, and I'm just like, where is the consistency, bro? I want the consistency.
He's just raging, bro. Honestly, guys,
I never thought I would get this upset about it, but
I like this passionate Cosmos.
Yeah, man, no, I like it, bro. Honestly, catch me streaming on Kick tomorrow, Wednesday at 1 p.m.
Might be time to run.
I'll be there.
Go big or go broke.
I'll be there no matter what.
Thank you for the 1 sub. I've made $4. It's lit.
That could be the change. I mean, I don't know. Like, we'll see what happens. But it's just kind of like, for me, it's just kind of like food for thought. You know what I'm saying? So, like, obviously, like, you're not going to, like, we have big tournaments coming up. You're not going to probably see those streamed on Kick. But for those creators out there, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, keep it in the back of your mind. Maybe a Kick stream once or twice a week just to test the waters might not be the worst thing in the world. Maybe we'll have a lights out exclusively on Kick sometime. You never know.
I was serious. I don't know what he's talking about. I was maybe not tomorrow, but you know, this is food for thought, like he said.
For thought. See, Light is making the correct plays.
This is a full 5-course meal for thought, bro. I'm poor. Do you know what taxes did to me?
Don't report everything.
If we had tournament streams on Kick, I don't know, you might see a couple names come back.
All right. Well, moving back to the Smash.
I don't know. I think this is the time where we move on to new topics. Kazuya and Steve are banned in tourney locator tournaments.
There you go.
There we go. Okay.
You're about to see a lot of names leave Smash now because of this ban.
No, that's a really good point. The question that people are wondering, though, is are we going to have more people leave Smash because of the ban, or were we going to have more people leave Smash if we didn't have them banned? That's the real question.
So the thing I really don't like about it is, I think the big thing that happened recently that I actually did see was the biggest tournament, or the biggest local, I believe, in Texas, which is Shockwave, banned Steven Kazuya, I feel like 2 or 3 days ago. But they said in the same tweet, they put like a whole like really long worded tweet out saying why they felt it was a bad decision, but they felt like it was a good decision. I don't know. It felt very, very weird. But they also said that it's banned in the locals for now, but we're gonna keep them at the majors. So that's the thing that I don't really like, because
That's
if you have a
terrible.
major in the same state of your locals, it's really really bad for players, because then you're like you go to locals to practice for majors and to practice matchups and like things you need to prepare for the big deal. At least top players that want to like make it, I guess, a quote unquote actual living, that's what they go to locals for, and like what they want from locals. So if you ban them from locals but you still have it at your majors, how are you supposed to get the quote unquote like scrimmage practicing that locals are supposed to be used for? You can't play a Kazuya main or a Steve main, and then you run into Riddles, who was actually going to be at Low Tide City, and you're not prepared for it because you weren't able to get an actual tournament set against Kazuya anymore.
No, yeah, that's a huge problem that we're all going to be going to face. Like, to be honest, I don't know who's making these decisions, but you need to cut it out, because I'm not trying to get destroyed by the next Kazuya that I fight, or Akola next time he comes over here. That's been the biggest talk that I've had, where it's like, if you ban Steve everywhere, because I know Steve's getting banned more consistently than Kazuya.
Mm-hmm.
If you ban Steve everywhere, and the potentially best player in the world right now is a Steve main, how the hell are we going to counterplay that? Or why is Japan ever even going to be interested in coming over here? You know, like we're gonna lose more community that way, and if they do ever come over, we're just gonna get fucked up.
Yeah, because they would come over for the stuff that's legal. Obviously, I think like I don't know, like every single, and I know I'm gonna sound like an old head here or whatever. I don't really care. Every single generation of Smasher just gets softer and softer and softer. Like wants to be spoon fed more, is just like not as dedicated to learning shit. Like even like on the Metafy recording we did with Louis Money, which will be live this Saturday on Metafy exclusively, he said that Steve was a character he hated, and what did he do? He put in work to get better so they could beat the character. And the last time he played Onin, he beat him clean. Okay, Spargo makes a tweet. He's like, I don't know what all you people want, or something to the effect of like, I don't know what you guys are complaining about if you're never gonna put effort to get better or something. Like all this stuff is obtainable if you actually put the work in. Like, there are still people with great mindsets for sure, but I just feel like, and I'm not knocking Texas, you know what I'm saying? I've never really been to Texas to do events and stuff like that. They obviously do their own thing, and that's all good. But I definitely think, like, the spirit of competition is kind of waning in certain parts of the Smash community, and I think the ban, not only on Steve, but Kazuya as well, like, that's just some weird shit to me. Like, I don't get that at all.
No, yeah, I completely agree with you, man. Honestly, the fact that a 16-year-old like Spargo got more like confidence in this stuff than a bunch of people our age is ridiculous. People are complaining way too much right now. They just need to play the game. They're not putting the effort in, but they want to complain for the top players. I don't really get that. Like, I don't know a lot of top players who are actually complaining about Steve and Kazuya right now, but you know, the lower levels are complaining, but like, unless you're the ones who are going to be at these major top 8s, honestly, I don't really want to fucking hear it.
Like, honestly, it's the thing that bothers me is that there's not really even that many players.
Honestly, there's a lot of things bothering you today. Let me hear about it.
Cosmos, we're losing you. Pause and reset.
Do you hear me? Am I lost?
Reboot!
We're gonna need some editing and post here, guys.
Am I lost?
You're back.
I'm back.
Okay, stationary.
All right, stationary. You can hear me, right? I'm good.
Yes,
right.
You're good.
Sorry. I'm in Japan. Give me the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, the thing about it that bothers me is that it's not even that there's a lot of players that are complaining about it. And it feels like what's happening is that most of the tournament organizers are banning Steve and Kazuya even. Like, Kazuya seems like a very, very huge stretch. And I feel like it's because the main thing they're doing is that they're catering towards the vocal minority. And they're taking the vocal minority as their, like, sample size for everybody in the community. Like, I don't know if they've done polls or like asked their entire community to respond or anything, but it feels like they're just listening to people that are complaining and being like, hey, this is probably what everybody thinks. But I'm pretty sure the people that aren't complaining don't really even care that much. Like, they might care, but they don't care enough to be to the point where like they have to complain for the character to be banned, that's the biggest problem I'm having with it right now, because it's a lot of places that are banning Steve, and to ban Kazuya, like Kazuya's fucked up. But he's not fucking up the community or anything. Like, there's only one top Kazuya player. There's no top Japanese Kazuya player. There's top Japanese Kazuya secondaries. I haven't heard of one singular Kazuya in Europe at all. Like, I don't think there's a single person that has touched. I don't even think they have the character downloaded in Europe. Honestly, I haven't seen them in Europe at all. And I'm just surprised that, like, there's not even that many Kazuya players that are doing that well, and you're banning Kazuya?
The thing with Kazuya versus Steve too is, like, with Kazuya, there's very clear counterplay to Kazuya, you know? Not the strongest disadvantage state. His neutral is good, but there are definitely some clear openings. Whereas Steve, it's like, he's kind of cheating. Like, I'm not saying we should ban Steve, but, like, there's definitely a less clear-cut way to beat Steve than there is Kazuya.
Yeah.
So it's like, why the fuck are you guys even in the same level of banning, you know? Both of them touch to death, in my opinion, but, like, at least one has a losing condition that's obvious.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
And it's like, against Steve does have the Bayonetta effect, just not to the same effect as Bayonetta, because if you play against Steve, you are playing a different game than you are against the majority or all the characters in Smash. And, like, you have to play a very specific game against Steve specifically that honestly might sometimes not really feel like you're playing Smash Brothers. That's what it felt like when you were playing against Bayonetta in Smash 4.
Yep.
Which I do believe was ban worthy, because you were literally scared to press a button at any second in the game, because you could just get what's time and die at 0. Against Kazuya, you can play Kazuya like you play against other fighting game characters, and you could, like, you can play Kazuya like you play against other Smash characters, because Kazuya is strong in a specific way, and you have a specific counterplay that you play against Kazuya where you just want to, like you play against him like a fighting game character, where if you get hit, you're gonna take a lot of damage, but he's very slow and he has a lot of counterplay, just like other fighting game characters.
Yeah.
I think a big part of the Kazuya stuff, which no one would probably talk about, is MK Leo. Leo is someone who versus Riddles does tend to struggle. I know he got the Marthaverse 3-0 there, but, like, honestly, a big part of that was
I don't even count that.
Yeah, that was definitely just like Riddles was shitting himself, bro. I don't know what the fuck was going on then. But you get the point. Best player in the world struggling with Kazuya. Not really a good look, because he doesn't really always do that well there. So it's like, oh yeah, this character's broken. I do think people do look at that stuff like that, because people do tend to look at top players as tools, or, like, just the character sometimes. So it's like, they're like, oh, Riddles, you know, Kazuya beating Leo. Like, no one fucking beats Leo, but, like, I mean, Leo could just suck versus Kazuya. You know,
it's possible.
Yeah, Leo sucked versus doesn't he hate Min Min too? He sucks versus Min Min. He sucked versus Donkey Kong in Smash 4. Like, the best players can suck and stuff, bro. Zero was the worst person ever versus Bayonetta. My man gave every high monkey flip. Yep. You know, like,
until Bayo retired that man into content.
It's facts. Like,
he was gone.
Yeah, perfect example, bro. Leo ain't going anywhere though. Hopefully, I heard he made a tweet about streaming. Let's not get too worried.
Yeah. No, I understand that. I mean, maybe, like, I'm sure there's a lot of factors too. Like,
yeah, he did.
I've seen some comments about oversaturation and stuff like that, but I just think, like, if there is, like, you know, maybe, like, to preserve your own local, hey, I get it. You got to do what you got to do. But just from a competitive standpoint, it's just unfortunate to see that, because I'm sure a lot of those people who have invested time into those characters are just like, damn, I didn't have to deal with this really, like, in Smash 4, or, you know what I'm saying? Even Brawl was very generous with their, you know what I'm saying, Meta Knight ban not lasting very long, and stuff like that. But, you know, it is what it is.
Too.
Yeah.
Oh man, catch Leo streaming on Kick at 1 p.m. tomorrow on Wednesday.
I'm pulling up. What's he getting into?
Oh man,
I'll be there no matter what.
Me too. I'll be there no matter what. The new phrase. Anything for Leo, baby.
Anything for Leo. I did have another tournament that I wanted to talk about because somebody sent me a message in Discord. I think it was Tech Republic announced. Yeah, she messaged me that Tech Republic had announced that they're going to be doing, I believe, a woman's only bracket. And she was like, "Hey, can you guys talk about this on Lights Out? Because I see a lot of pushback on this from other ladies, and I don't like this. This is the same thing that they did."
What do you mean
like,
pushback?
Like they're not for it.
Okay.
They're not having it. And she was telling me, because I remember talking to her a while ago, she was telling me like this is the same thing that happened when 2GG announced that they were helping out with like a girls only tournament too, and they got a lot of backlash and flack from the community. Yep. And before I brought it up, I wanted to like legitimately get her thoughts and opinions. And she was just like, she's tired of people speaking for her on the behalf of her. And there were other girls too who were like, yo, this is something that we'd be interested in. So I was curious about your guys' take on it. Me personally, I think it's perfectly fine. I think it's just another avenue for competition. And if some of the ladies feel more comfortable competing in that, I think it's awesome. I do think it's a bit strange that people keep forcing like maybe things that they had to deal with to be like, oh, well, this is going to happen to you for sure. I'm just like, or maybe it's not. Maybe they're going to handle it better and it'll be a good experience for these people. We won't know unless you let them try. So I definitely was on her side where she was talking, and I want to be respectful to her. I'm not going to, put her name out there. But I do feel like if we're at a tournament and there's like a woman's only event or what have you, like that should be perfectly have the ability to happen without people like ragging on it. Like, no, you can't do this. This hurts women. I'm just like, well, what about the women who are saying like, no, this doesn't. We want to participate in this. Like, it seems really, really odd that people are like giving people shit about that when there are clearly women who are interested in that.
Okay, so before I go on, what's her name again?
Very carefully there, so it didn't seem like I'm coming off. Yeah,
for sure. What's her name again?
I didn't want to bring her name up.
Oh, okay, but she's the one hosting the tournament.
No. She DM'd me about it and was like, "Can you guys talk about this on the podcast? Because I don't think it's cool how it's getting so much pushback." I was like, "Yeah, sure, I can bring it up."
So I'm gonna be honest. I remember when it happened with the 2GG thing. I have a very powerful opinion about this. I got definitely a lot of emotions going on when I first heard about this. Now, before I say anything, like I said, this is something we got to be careful about. I think we don't really have too much of a say in a sense because we are guys, and we don't know how women feel. But from my perspective, and again, it's valid depending on they want it to be valid or not. I never understood not having women's brackets when they were first advocated and why so many men or women got mad about it. And the reason I don't understand it is because no one's trying to make a bracket to degrade you or say you are less or to say that you suck or something like that. I kind of see it as an understanding more that women are undoubtedly not a secret of rarity in our community. They are not as common as guys. There's not nearly as many of them. And for obvious reasons, because there's a lot of sweaty people in our community. You get the point.
And some weirdos too. Like I get it.
And some weirdos. Yeah, I get it. The point is they are a rarity in our community, right? So when I look at a woman's bracket, it's not. First of all, they could still enter the normal bracket. They can still do that. Supergirl Kels is an amazing player. Kiwi's an amazing player. They're great players.
They're beasts.
But yeah, for sure. Kiwi was top 5 in my state for like most of the time that I was competing when I was younger. So
very well at PAX.
Yeah, look at that. So yeah, it's nothing like you can't enter the main bracket, but there are so few of you, and I think it's a beautiful chance to highlight like the women who are in the community. And even though there are women in the community, just like there are guys in the community who don't want to be as competitive as us, who still help the community in their way. I think it's really cool seeing them in a bracket. It's something I would definitely support. I think it's really cool. That's why I got kind of mad when I saw the whole 2GG thing get a lot of flack. Not only because it's just, I don't think there's any ill intent, also because it was 2GG, Like, 2GG has done so much for us, and they were just trying to support. It's like no one would ever take that approach for it to be malicious,
Yeah.
For this bracket that I'm hearing about now, again, I haven't really seen much because I haven't been on social media, but I would assume it's the same thing. You're just trying to show positivity and highlight the woman in our community because there are just so few of you, and there are talented ones, and there are also ones who are not as competitive. I think it's a fine thing, but again, I am a man talking from a man's perspective, so I don't really know.
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely tough to talk about this because you definitely do have to be very careful. Because like we're guys and everything, so but the thing about 2GG did bother me too, mainly because I believe, if I'm correct, it wasn't even 2GG that like was doing the event. Like they were just the ones that were like
Yep.
advertising it,
Mhm.
which happens a lot. Like it's not like not every tournament that happens is ran from the stream. Like BTS doesn't run every tournament; they just run the stream for the tournaments. That's basically what 2GG was doing too. They were not running the event, they were basically just being the advertisers in the stream of the event, and they were the one getting the shit for it because they have obviously more exposure than the actual people that were running the tournament. But that's why it bothered me too, because like I feel like that's also like shortly after that 2GG left, and I feel like that's definitely, I don't know everything that happened behind the scenes, but it wouldn't be surprised if that's also part of the reason why 2GG like kind of was like, yeah, we're not really doing everything with.
Yeah,
We're
like
not.
I'll tell you what I know firsthand because it's been a couple of years. So I'll just say it. That
Okay.
was one of the main issues that kind of the straw that broke the camel's
Okay.
back. It
Yep.
was just like we just feel like we're just trying to help and we're just being dogpiled on a community that we've done so much for, and it doesn't
That's
make
what I
any
thought.
sense.
Yeah, and I mean, I knew that
Because
as well. I just didn't know we could talk on that. But like, as a player, that set me on such a high level being pissed off because we disrespected the fuck out of one of the communities who have had our back and who have gotten so much done without Nintendo support, just like how we just did not too long ago. So I mean, we're just repeating steps here.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
and it's like it hurts a lot, and it's like, damn, I've been getting really annoyed this specific podcast about a lot of things. What the
A
heck?
lot of
Because
things, bro.
it makes me really annoyed because like Champ is like obviously the owner or the previous owner of 2GG. He is one of the most nicest, down to earth human beings you could probably meet in your life. He
Love
is
him.
so helpful. He is one of the literal goats of all of Smash in general. And he even always mentioned that like 2GG never made a profit out of anything. Any profit they made, because he literally talked about how he had a job and he's about to retire soon. He doesn't have to do what he is doing now because he's going to be fine. But it's like he didn't make like money off of 2GG. Everything that he made from 2GG, he would put back into the community to make the community even better. And like he just talked about how like people were just ungrateful and how it bothered him. So
It was literally a
that's why
nonprofit org. Like
exactly. And it
Getting
was doing so much for us.
Yeah, getting a little bit more on topic though. Your opinion more so on like the girls bracket,
Yeah, I mean it's definitely like, yeah, that 2GD thing for the girls thing did bother me. Also because like I think it's definitely fine to have girls bracket. Like I don't really see a problem with it because there's multiple different how do you say it, like categories of bracket or like versions of bracket. Like there's pro brackets, there's invitationals, there's like amateur brackets, and there's just multiple brackets that like specific people can enter. And the way I see it is just like this is just another bracket that a specific group of people are allowed to enter, and you're still allowed to enter the main bracket that everybody enters. So it's like if somebody wants to run a specific bracket, somebody can say, I want to run a bracket that only my friends can enter. Or even there are some places that region lock people. Like if we do online tournaments, you can only enter a certain amount of you can only enter this tournament if you're in this certain region. Like there's like a certain criteria that some tournaments put onto, and like when I see a girls bracket, that's also what I see in that. I'm like, okay, well, I can't enter it because this is the certain criteria that you have to meet, and certain people don't meet the criteria. And that's the way I see it. I see it pretty objectively, which I can't, like, obviously, like I'm a guy, and like that, maybe that's why I see it that way, because I'm not really bothered by like multiple brackets being that way, and I'm also a top player, so I'm just gonna join the main bracket anyway.
Yeah.
But for stuff like that, I don't like. I see it as like it can make people feel more comfortable because like obviously there's a lot of things that have been happening in the community, and like to like make things feel like, to make a bracket that somebody might want to enter. You don't even have to enter it if you meet the criteria for it. If somebody else wants to enter it, what is the bracket being there? How does that affect you? And
yeah, that was
like,
my whole
that's
point. Was like, and that's why, like, when I got that DM, I was like, I'm not gonna like. I know it's a little bit of a hot topic because again, we are all guys talking about a potential women's only tournament, but you know, it was important enough for her to bring it up to me and also express the fact that, you know, other women and girls like feel this way too. And I just think at the end of the day, like if you're not in favor, if you don't support it, that's, you know, that's your business. That's cool. Maybe you have different experiences, but I don't think it should jeopardize the potential positive future experience that these ladies could have in that tournament. And that's, I think we can all agree on that. And
yeah, completely true. No, that's completely true, because like if there are girls, if 20 girls want to compete in this and then 30 girls don't, then I think you just let it happen. Let the girls who want to compete in it, because at the end of the day, don't take that opportunity away from them because you think it's wrong, because other girls think there's nothing wrong with it, you know? So
it's all about inclusivity, and I think that's a great way to include people. So I don't see a problem.
And it's also just like I don't like when people like, because you said that she felt like she was like, there were people that were in the community that were basically trying to speak for her, like speak for everybody in that criteria. I don't like that kind of concept, because even just not just for girls, but for anything, like people saying like, this Steve is bad for the community. I speak for the whole community for this. Kazuya is bad for the community. This is bad for the community. I don't like when people do that, because you don't know how people really think, and you're basically the vocal minority, because a lot of the people don't give a fuck about social media. They just want to enter brackets, do whatever they want to do, and go on about their day. But the people that are so social high and mighty that really care about everything are basically ruining it for some people that just want to live their life and are just making things that could be a possibility for them not a possibility, because they don't want to put themselves in that stratosphere for their own mental health. But the people that are all on social media are taking it away from them, which is why it's very frustrating. And I can see why it can be frustrating for someone like that.
Yeah, and I could see why she didn't even really I see why she didn't really bring it up too much herself. Because like, again, social media, sometimes it seems like that minority can kind of dogpile and seem like a lot, you know, more than it actually may be. But, you know, nonetheless, like I've seen people in support of it. I see other communities have like, you know, women only events. CLG Red was a badass team for CLG. I remember I think I watched them play live at DreamHack. What was it? DreamHack Dallas, the last DreamHack Dallas. That was like a women's only event.
I believe cool Moist said that they're on Moist now. Like I
think they sponsored them for a tournament, I believe, to help them out to get some more eyes on them. So definitely a lot of cool stuff. You know,
college basketball, the girls' college basketball, UConn, Connecticut's one of the best. I heard it was
going crazy.
They're always one of the best basketball teams. I mean, the UConn guys just won the league, but the UConn girls are usually always on top of it, man. Girls' leagues be going crazy, man.
There you go, no doubt about that. And I think it's safe to say this podcast went pretty crazy. We
yeah, those are good podcasts.
It's over already.
I just saw. I gotta read this comment. This one's having me laughing. Go. Smasher, try not to kill the community challenge.
Impossible.
I like that one. That one's really true. That one's true.
That's true. Well, good thing, even with all the discourse going on, there's one thing they can't kill, and that's this podcast, because we bring it to you every single week. Lights out, brought to you by our friends at Metafy. Don't forget, guys. You want to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube video, because I'm going to pick 4 lucky winners to win a case of Juvie. And of course, if you're listening to this on Spotify, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, because this is our first week. We'll be having episodes pop up on Spotify along with our previous episodes as well. So we're getting more well-rounded, we're getting more global, and we're only going to keep getting better. And I would like to hope that my co-hosts will promise me better mic quality next week.
20 subs.
Okay, was my mic quality bad?
You were okay. Cosmos, we got to do something about this.
Okay, I'll be back at my home setup next week.
All right.
I guarantee you, I got my Shure mic in my luggage back there. You can probably see. I just got to put it up. My laptop was having issues, so I couldn't even set it up, but I promise it'll be ready for the next one. Guaranteed.
Well, there you guys have it.
Are we doing it?
Are we doing rock, paper, scissors, see who closes out?
I mean,
do you want to
you already closed it out, honestly.
You want to do odd man?
It's bonus content.
No, let's do odd man out.
Wait,
Odd man out.
Odd man out. Odd man out.
Odd man out. All right.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. All right. Well, you're odd one out.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 1, 2, 3 shoot, but whatever, you cheater.
Well, who won then?
You won. You were odd man out.
You cheated. You cheated.
I guess I'm the right one in, guys.
We weren't even done.
Wait.
That was like the worst that happened.
You know what? Fuck it.
Me and the Cowboys were both like this. We were both like,
no. Cut to black. Faded here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.
There it is.